So today I have a little bit of a bag review for you. I don't do bag reviews all that often, but this was one that I've seen a fair amount of interest in, so I thought it was probably worth doing. Hello, and the warmest of welcomes to today's video. For those who haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Nick, happy to have you here. For those who have seen my face before, thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you're enjoying my videos. I put out videos roughly 3 times a week on a range of different topics, anywhere from fashion, slightly more personal topics. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then please do head down, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I love chatting with you all. I'm all about living life loud, and what that means to me is being your authentic self, being proud to be you, and just celebrating who you are. Celebrating yourself, and of course, celebrating others. So, first things first, bag of the day. My beautiful pink Longchamp Le Pliage in the leather. This is fantastic. I get such a kick out of using this. I've been using this a fair amount. I haven't been using the strap, but I've been really just enjoying how it looks when it's just kind of there. It's a fabulous, fabulous bag. They also have one in green, which I'm thinking maybe I also would like. However, I think that's a 25 centimetre. I think it might be a small, but they do also have a soft grey, which is really beautiful. But then I really want the Cloud Aspinall of London tote. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum with what I want, but this is fantastic. Fantastic. I was going to say fan-dabby-dozy. Both work. That's Gwenny's word. Fan-dabby-dozy. Yes, all of it works for this bag. I love it so much. I really do, enjoy using it. I don't know yet whether I can firmly recommend because I've not used it enough, but I do feel that I will soon have used it enough to be able to say. But, spoiler alert, sneaking suspicion, I think I'm going to be able to recommend it because I'm loving it so much. Anyhow, that's not the bag we are here to talk about. We are here to talk about the Mulberry Alexa. And this is a bag, like I said, that I've been seeing a fair amount. I know I've got one, Steph from Handbag Holic has one, Emma from Memoranders has one. Like there's a fair few of us, and of course there were many individuals before us who had them as well. So it is a bag that I have been seeing pop up more and more. I know Deb from Wild Unfiltered has also been thinking about one of these. So yeah, really interesting. And what's great is we all have different versions of them as well, which I really enjoy seeing. So what do I think about the Mulberry Alexa? The Mulberry Alexa is one of the classic Mulberry styles. It has been around since, I believe, 2010. It was a collaboration between Mulberry as a heritage British brand and supermodel Alexa Chung, who was a British model, and they created this. It has an edginess to it. It is very different to the Bayswater that has been around for circa 25 years. You're looking at 12 years for the Mulberry Alexa, but it has really become a part of the staple collection. So you are looking in terms of those continuous items, the Bayswater, the Alexa, the Iris, the Lily. I'm missing another and I cannot think of what it is. There is another. Oh, I think the Softie might become part of it. I really hope it doesn't. The only saving grace of those bags is the colours. But who knows? They might find their way in as well. So you might kind of end up with 5 core ranges. I'll let you know if I've forgotten one. I know I've forgotten one and I cannot think of what it is. Anyway, it doesn't matter, does it? The Mulberry Alexa. Mine is a pre-loved piece. I bought this from Arm Candy Bag Company here in the UK. And this was a piece from 2010, and this is in the print called Loopy Leopard. So, as many of you may know, I have a Mulberry Bayswater in the print Trippy Tiger, which was from 2013, and that was a denim print. This is also a denim print from 2010. So, I'm creating this little jungle of bags, which I'm absolutely adoring and loving. I love the base of the pink of this. I love the flecks of purple that run through it. The red, it's got the black leather, it's got the gold hardware, which, doesn't fuss me. I'm not normally a gold hardware person, we know this, but it doesn't fuss me because I think it works really well with the bag. I absolutely adore this weaving of the chain through the leather here as well. It's so pretty. You can open it out if you wanted to. I originally thought that's maybe how I would use it, but no, I haven't. I've just been using it like this. It's fantastic. So it can be a top handle, has a postman's lock, which is a signature Mulberry. These are purely decorative. They do not fasten from there. You have tabs that then clip in here. Has this leather piece here. It's a very well thought through bag. Mine is currently stuffed. Has a zip pocket on the back and a slip pocket to the front. Okay, that's what it looks like. And then it has where is the shoulder strap? It's in here. Then it's just a black leather, fairly thin, adjustable shoulder strap. So it could be crossbody, it could be long shoulder. Then you've got the clasps here, which look a bit more like a rose gold actually. No, they are the same. It's just the light. But so that goes in there, and then those just clip inside the bag there. So they're still technically accessible from the outside. So it's a really lovely item, and I really like the version that I've got. But let's kind of get into what I think overall of this bag. And I've got my notes here. I'm not going to pretend that I don't have notes because I want to make sure that I give all of the information. Mine is the kind of, how do you say this? The standard size, the middle size. So you've got a mini, like an extra mini or a mini. Oh, they do actually do the extra minis now. They do an extra small, then they do a kind of mini. I've got the sort of medium, average, central, and then they do an oversized as well. So the oversized creeps much more towards the Bayswater size. So much more like this. Yeah. Showing you my notes. There we are. Like I said, nothing if not thorough. Okay, so let's talk about it more generally, because of course I've got my version, but different versions will think of different things. So I'm talking about the style in its more general sense. So one of the first pros, because we're going to start off positive, one of the first pros of this is the fact that it does come in various sizes. I like it when a bag style has multiple sizes that can work for different people. I would personally always go for either this or the oversized, probably an oversized if I was going to get another, but I absolutely loved the print of this, and this came out before the oversized, I believe. It comes out in various materials and various variations. So as I said, I named 3 YouTubers, myself, Emma, and Steph. We all have a different version. They both had leather. Steph's is green. Emma's is in the colour chestnut, I believe. And then I've got denim, and I've got a limited edition denim. So you can get multiple variations. You can get kind of a suede or a cord. They do them in all black and matte black. They do them in lots of different variations. So definitely one to be thinking about. You can probably get about 10 or 15 different ones at any one time. And I really like that about Mulberry. You have multiple options when it comes to how you hold it. So, like I said, you've got top handle, you've got the shoulder strap that could be long shoulder, it could also be crossbody. So it's got a little bit of versatility to it, over and above maybe some of the other Mulberry bags that you might be able to buy. I think this is one of the more versatile. Similar to an Iris, etc., that can do the same, the zipped Bayswater, but this more classic Bayswater style, it can be top handle, or if you can get that over your shoulder. That's your option. There's no strap. That's your lot. So just something to consider. And that's particularly important if you've got one of the larger sizes of these and it gets quite heavy, because especially if they're in leather, they can get quite heavy and they've got a fair amount of hardware on them. Mine in particular has quite a lot of hardware. It's got a slightly more edgy and more casual style than some of the other Mulberry bags, which I do like about it. I do like that there's not such a formality to it. Mine, with all of the hardware, probably could be argued to be a little bit more formal, but then it's in denim, so that immediately strips out some of that formality. It's also a slightly more slouchy style, and over time, and I know individuals that have these outside of the YouTube sphere, theirs are really quite slouchy because of the amount that they use them, and I actually quite like that as a look. It's a bag that I don't think you can timestamp as easily as potentially some others, but I think Mulberry's really good for that in general. It's reasonably priced as luxury goes, and this is all relative, and some of you might sit and scoff at the fact that I have just said that, but as I've said about Mulberry's before, you're in the low thousands for them. I think the most expensive Mulberry you can get at the moment is about £2,200, and that's for quite a limited piece. On the whole, they tend to sit around the 1100, 1200 mark. And that's where this tends to sit. I think it's less than that for the mini. I think it's sub 1,000 for the mini. But this one is probably about 1095 current range. And then probably about 1250, 1300 for the oversized. So as designer goes, it's not terrible price point. But like I said, it's all relative. And what I would say, and how I managed to get this, you can get an amazing pre-loved deal. Mulberry's, I love them. They don't hold their value. So from a buyer, as a second-hand pre-loved buyer, you can do really well because they don't hold their value. This cost me £400 and it was in fantastic condition. It's a limited run piece. I've never seen another person with one. Let me know if you know anyone that has one. I don't. I've never seen it. I don't see it very often on Instagram, etc. Only when I typed in Loopy Leopard, and even then, everyone had a slightly different variation of the pattern because I don't think they were produced in a way that meant every single one was a carbon copy. So I really like that. I'm a big, big fan of this. Okay, now let's get on to some of the cons. It is a little fussy to get in and out of. You probably saw earlier in the video, you know, you have to undo the lock, which is fine, and then you have to pull these up, and then that hangs down. You have to be conscious of the fact that that could scratch something, or you don't want to whip yourself with it. And then when you're putting it all back together, the postman's lock goes down easily, but then you have to try and fit these magnets back in, and you could just leave them so that they're not, but then you start to scratch the hardware, which is a little bit of a pain. One, I find, goes in more easily than the other, or you have to be really just looking at where you're putting it, which I could probably do, but the whole point of this bag is you're meant to just be able to kind of do a bit of a run with it. You know, I don't want to have to be fussy, so it's a little on the fussy side. Is it a game changer? No, but it's something to be conscious of, particularly if you've got other things that you're thinking about. I've only got me to be thinking about when I'm getting in and out of my bag. If you've got other things that you need to be thinking about, then it could be a tad on the fussy side. Just something to note. It's got a smaller interior than the exterior would suggest. So this is 32 centimeters. I always think it looks a bit smaller than that. These are technically kind of equivalent sizes, but this just feels like a much larger bag, in all honesty. And I would say the same for the Bayswater. It's not as practical as equivalent bags of the size, but it's just because of the shape of it. It's because of the way that it cinches. And yes, you can release all of that if you wanted to, but it impacts the aesthetic for me. So just something to consider. It's not as practical as the size in terms of its dimensions would suggest. Doesn't bother me particularly. I still use it. I still use my Bayswaters, but I do have smaller bags with more capacity. So just something to think about. It's not able to navigate every situation. Because it is a little bit edgier and a little bit more casual, I don't think in my life it can navigate every situation. I can't use this for a black tie function. And that makes it sound like I go to them all the time. I don't. I probably go to formal functions 10, 15 times a year, okay? But I like to have something that can navigate that scenario. This just isn't it, but there are other bags that I have that can do it. So again, it's not a game changer because it's not like I bought this to navigate everything. However, if you were looking for a bag that can do it all, I'm not sure this can do it all. I could be wrong. You might think differently. I don't think it can. I think it can do day very well. I think you could do casual evening very well. I don't think you could do a formal situation as well. I don't know that it does work as well if you're in a more formal scenario. If you're in a more formal, like I said, dining setting, a black tie event, it doesn't do it as well. But then I have, you know, Longchamps and Kurt Geigers, and to be honest, I don't really have that many luxury pieces that would do formal all that well. This maybe, but it's quite a big bag. Yeah, don't have that much really. So, but it's not something that I invest in too heavily. So the fact that it can do day, you know, and casual work more of the time, then I'm good with that. Have I used this for work? I've used it once. I tend to use it for day or running errands. Tends to be it. It doesn't hold its value. So I use this as a pro for the, It also is, of course, a con, because if you have bought this new from boutique and you want to get some money back out of it, you're going to lose quite a substantial amount. You just are. I don't think you can expect to make the same amount back from a luxury good that you paid for it. I really don't believe in that. However, this you will lose a fair amount on. So I think, you know, pre-loved, you're going to probably lose at least 40%. And that's if you're not paying a consignment fee. If you're paying a consignment fee, you're probably going to lose 50% of the value of what you paid for it. But hey, if you used it, loved it, and just came to the end of the road with your time with it, then fine. That's worth it, I think. But if you're buying it, it sits on the shelf you use it once or twice, and then say, I'm going to sell it for £900. I'm sorry, you're not. You're just not. Prove me wrong, but I don't think you are. So there we have that. Final thing, and this is not on my list, but I've just thought about it. It doesn't have feet. It does have this leather piece here, but it doesn't have feet. So it's good because it doesn't really have the opportunity to do corner wear with the way that it's piped, etc. But I do think because this one is denim and because there is a little bit of kind of overhang of fabric, I'd have quite liked it to just have some gold feet. I mean, it has so much hardware on it. I don't know why putting some feet on the bottom of it would have been an issue. Let me know if the newer ones have feet. I'm not 100%. It's not something I've looked at. If I'm honest, I've looked at newer ones, but I've not flipped them to see if there are feet. But there we are. So overall, what do I think of the Alexa in general? Of course, like I said, it's all size dependent. It depends what would work best for you. For me, I would say this is probably a 7.5 out of 10 in terms of overarching ranking of bag style. 7.5, my version, an 8 out of 10, I would say. I have other bags that I just think pip it to the post in terms of each scenario. The real thing that captures me with this is the print and the hardware. I just think it's fantastic. To be honest, I wish I could have got this in a Bayswater, and I did try and find a Loopy Leopard Bayswater, but they are so hard to find. They also come in leather, which I quite like the denim. So yes, if you go for Loopy Leopard, it looks different in a Bayswater because it's leather. And I think it's patent, if I'm not mistaken. But I do like it a lot. I do recommend it. It is a good bag. I am someone who leans more towards formality and structure and also capacity. So from that sense, a Bayswater will always serve me better than an Alexa. Am I glad to own this one? I am. I'm very glad to own this one. Will I look to add multiple? No. This is my one. This is my one. And I'm very happy with it, and that's good. These, I'll look to have multiple. I've got 2 so far. I'm currently eyeing up a couple of different options for a third. So yes, they are both fantastic bag styles. This one works better for me. However, this one, easily an 8 out of 10 for me, which means that if you're someone who appreciates the fact that it can be worn crossbody, it's a little bit more casual, etc., I think it could be a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for you. So there we have it. That's what I think. So that's where we're at when it comes to the Mulberry Alexa, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think. Do you own an Alexa? Are you thinking about buying an Alexa? I hope that today's review has been useful for you in some capacity, and I look forward to seeing my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye now. Mwah.